I'm going to be sharing some bookmarks with you that has a study. For those of you who'd like to go online, it can be Googled and you can be able to see the...
Only the men or everybody?
Everyone.
Everybody.
And if there's a man in your life, you can give him, or a father that you care about, you want to give him this bookmark as well. Now, the study that was done, it was entitled An Examination into the Perceptions of Tobagonian Fathers Concerning the Impact of Absent Fatherhood in the Lives of Sons to Achieve Academically and Socially. Now here you will see this study was comprised of 10 fathers from different parishes, and as you can see here, they all had different types of work. They were all working fathers. They all had sons who were teenagers, whether they're in school, whether they finished school, but they were all teenagers, and these are the different educational levels of the father. Most of them, they finished high school. Some of them were in college. They finished college, and of course their names are not listed because of identity. We try to keep their identity covered, but every father in this study voluntarily decided that I wanted to be part of this study. Now, when the study was done, the research questions and the interview questions were all put into a database, and that database was called En Vivo, okay? And what that does, it just comprises, thank you, all the different words that are similar, what the fathers said that made all the words come together, and there are themes that came up from this study. The first theme that came up was limitation. Are the fathers limited when it comes to their ability to train their sons? Another theme was duty. What is the father's duty in the lives of his son? Does it make a difference? Does a father really make a difference? We also had success. What are the skills that the fathers are using that determine success? Are they making a difference? Do these fathers even feel that the energy that they put in with their sons, is it making a difference? Another theme was satisfaction. Do fathers feel satisfied when they're helping their sons, when they're interactive in the lives of their sons? Do they feel as though they're making a difference or they're being supported in the process of fatherhood? Also, we have academic support and responsibility. These were the themes that came up from the study, from all the data that was taken from these fathers. Now, as we look here, you can see where other themes came up. We asked them the question, these Tobagonian fathers, what elements of responsibility are Tobagonian fathers satisfied with in terms of parenting? The themes were academic support and social support. Well, fathers gave all kinds of answers. Let's take a look at some of the answers they gave. One father said he must set a good example for his son. He said, I could teach my son whatever I want to, but if I'm not living the life, my son is watching my life. So this father felt that his life made the difference. We have here guiding his son into the right path. Now, this particular father believed that I must train my son in the godly way. I must teach him, I must take him to church, I must be supportive to him. If not, he's going to come up short. Another father said, I need to build a good relationship with my son. He said its relationship is so important because you can train your son as much as you want, but if you don't have that relationship, when it comes to communication, it will break down. These fathers blew me away with their answers, and as you continue to listen to what they said, you would surprise you because every father, even though he was interviewed separately, the fathers were saying pretty much the same thing. So there must be some truth to it. We have here where the fathers were asked, what do Tobagonian fathers who are no longer living in the home feel is their responsibility to their sons? Okay, there might be a stepfather in the home. There might be other men coming through the home. Does that father feel that he has what it takes or he has what his son needs in order for him to be successful? These fathers said, yes, I have what my son needs. Another man could be in the home trying to train my son, but I'm his father. I know what he needs. And these fathers were very adamant about that. We had another father say that he needs to fulfill his responsibility to his son. He said mothers could only do so much, but the father must be there financially, socially, academically, so that their sons can be successful. Another father said, I like this one where the father says that he needs to look to the well-being of his son. And he said his son will learn. This particular father spent a lot of time with his son, especially in school. He would make sure that he did his work, that he finished it on time, that his GPA was going up, and he would even reward him by taking him, maybe it's to a game together they would enjoy, or just being there for him to encourage him and support him. And this son excelled, even though mom and dad were not together. So fathers are making a difference, and these Tobagonian fathers see that they are making a difference. Here we have where the fathers were asked, how satisfied are Tobagonian fathers who no longer live in the home with their parenting skills? Okay, if the father's not in the home, does that mean he doesn't have the skills to train his son? These fathers said, no way, we have what it takes. Let's take a look. A father said we need to be responsible and not leave the parenting to the mother, okay? Father said, it's important for me to be there for my son. It makes a difference. I'll just give you an example. This particular son, he was really smart, very academically inclined. He was one of the best when it came to football, and in school he was doing really well. When mother and father separated, immediately his grades started dropping. He was an A student. He was smart and everything, and as mother and father separated and eventually got a divorce, his grades began to drop. His self-esteem began to drop. And not only that, he didn't even want to play sports anymore. He began to withdraw. He stayed by himself. And the father said, you know what? Something is wrong because he's not talking to me. It just so happened that in this particular case, mom was saying a lot of things negatively about dad when he wasn't around. So when he was with his father was like, what's wrong with you? You're not talking to me anymore like you used to. Just to find out that mom was putting him down, dad said, stop. Do we love our son? Do we care about him? The mother said, yes, I care. Well, he says, we need to stop doing this. We need to stop talking about each other bad behind each other's back. And we need to come together, be respectful to one another. And do you know it worked? Simple as it seems. As they showed love to each other, respect for one another, whenever they were together, the son's grades started going back up. He started doing good in school, and not only that, he was playing his sports again. So sometimes just mother and father coming and agreeing, even when there's differences. If you care about your loved one or your child, you would work along together. It's very important. Here, fathers were asked which circumstances led to Tobagonian fathers leaving their home, in Tobago. Very important question. Why are the men leaving? We are seeing an increase, a tremendous increase. When this study was done, it was 2015. We're in 2017. The statistics are rising. So I can't even tell you as of this moment what it is. But I know when I did this study, it was very high. We have a lot of homes that are led by females. There's no men around, no father figures who can be there as a role model for these young men. Well, they're looking for some type of identity. Let's take a look and see what the fathers said. Fathers were saying due to divorce, which divorce was number one, separation. Sometimes a man has to leave his home because he has to make money elsewhere, whether it's to go back to the States or do a business where he's traveling back and forth. Eventually that tears up the family. So that is another situation the fathers were saying that they feel causes fathers to leave the home in Tobago. We have another one here. It says, some fathers said due to nagging. Oh, yes. They couldn't take it. They said, I can't take it no more. I got to go. And maybe they're finding other women who are more accepting of their behavior. And that tends to be another issue that we're dealing with here in Tobago. Now, let's take a look at another question. It says, what do Tobagonian fathers believe their impact is on their sons' academic and social decisions? Now, do fathers make a difference academically? Yes, they do. They do. Let's take a look. One father said, I need to know my son's friends and make sure that he completes his assignments and support him. This was a very interesting case because this was where he had invested so much in his son, so much time, took him to church. He talked about being there to support his son. No matter what his son was going through, he was there emotionally, socially, academically. But he started to get with the wrong friends and was going the opposite direction. Started smoking. He started doing things that the father did not approve of. The father said he had to stop what he was doing and become friends with that little group that his son was hanging out with. And he helped to change all the boys. Isn't that something? I reward that. That father's amazing as he told his story because he was not able to get his son to make the right choices. Well, he just became friends with all the guys. He'd buy them all food. He'd take them out. All of us would go to the soccer game or football game. And he helped to change the lives of every one of his friends. Okay, that made a difference. Another father said that father supporting his son is necessary. A father should provide praise and positive reinforcement for his son. We have another father that stated that I must give positive reinforcement and keep good communication with him. These fathers wanted to make a difference. What makes this study so interesting is that because before I started the study, I was told so many negative things about the fathers that they wouldn't open up, they wouldn't share. Tobagonian men don't want you in their business. You don't even talk like them, so what makes you think they're going to even let you ask them these questions or answer it? It was the complete opposite. Those men shared so much with me, examples and situations and what they were going through, and I was really shocked. If you could do all things over again when it comes to your son, is there anything that you would do differently? One father, he was a police. He said, no, I did the best that I could. He was the only one that stated he wouldn't do anything different. But we have some other fathers. One father said, no, I made the best use of my time, and my son understood that. Another father stated that he wished that he could spend more time and put his son on the top of his priority list. Because many of the fathers said they didn't spend as much time as they wanted with their sons, and they regret that because now they're older and it's a little more difficult for them to kind of, bend them, but they were still there for them. Another question, what is your perception of a good father, and how is a son affected by a good father? Well, these fathers said listening to any complaint that my son has. Listening was very important. You've got to listen. Many times we hear, but we don't listen. Another father said, love and care for my son. And another father said, look out for his family and their well-being. Okay? We have one father, he always stressed God. Take him to church, spend time with him, teach him the principles of the Bible, remind him again. He really stressed a lot about the Lord. Another question was, in what ways does the absence of fathers affect sons' development? Are sons affected when the father's not there? And if they're affected, in what way? Let's take a look. Sons do not do as well in every area of his life, one father stated. If the father is not there, the son comes up short. Another father said he lacks experience. One father said, I've been through it. I've been through so many obstacles. I can help my son to overcome many things, and he wouldn't have to go through what I went through. Another father said that he will lack support necessary for his growth. Without me, he will never be the man that he ought to be. And these are the answers that these fathers gave. What do you feel is your responsibility to your son? What is your duty? We asked the fathers. And they said, keep loving him and provide support for him. Another father said, be responsible for how my son turns out as a man. And that was very interesting because when a father feels he's responsible, he will do everything he can to make sure he's there for that son. I was very impressed by the answers that they gave. Another father said to be there for him and provide for him. So this father was saying provision was important because as I provide for him, it shows I care. Remember, men think different than women. Right? And if a father's there and he's providing financially, he's there when you need him, he's there to talk to, maybe to even cry at your shoulder if you're going through a situation, that means a lot to a son. Because when he has his own son, he will have the skills necessary to deal with the different situations that he has to go through. Limitation was another theme. And under that question we had, what do you feel was the greatest limitation when it came to spending time with your son? One father said, work and not setting my priorities right. He said, I worked too much. One father said, I just worked and worked and worked, provided, yes, but I wasn't spending that quality time. And he wished he had that to do again. Another father said, I was also involved in work. Another father said there was no limitations, and he communicated his feelings, and he said his son understood what they were going through. Even though he was separated from him and he wasn't able to be there like he wanted, he said his son understood. There's one father that said my in-laws they were my problem. They did everything to keep me away from my son. Now, this particular father was very interesting because as he shared his story, he broke down crying. This father said he had wanted a son for so long, and now his in-laws were doing everything to keep him away from his son. He said he wanted to take him to games, he wanted to do fun things, he wanted to go hiking with his son, and he just broke down and said his father-in-law was keeping him away from his son. The whole family wanted him nothing. They didn't want him to have anything to do with his son. And this was hurting him beyond description. He said the whole family didn't want anything to do with him. So this father stated that he was very hurt. He wished that they would support him more. He had saved so much. He was providing financially, but they weren't letting him spend the time with his son. Now, another study was done with 4 particular fathers from the same case. These fathers, we asked questions that were a little bit more intimate, and these fathers shared what their thoughts were, and they were outspoken. These men are amazing because not only did they take part in the study, but they started to make changes in our community as well. We have a support group that came out of the study where the men meet every day, and they come together and talk about issues that are going on in Tobago, issues in their own life. They share, they dialogue with one another, they even eat. We have a woman that set up a little food she cooks every day, and the men can go over there and buy food, get drinks, come back, relax, and talk. So they are having their own support, and this is what these men need. It was started by one of these fathers. We've also had workshops for fathers. And we're trying to start some more programs through the churches and reaching out to the community. So things are already being done. So we're very, very proud. And I've also seen these fathers in the community, these 4, as their leaders already in the community. So I've been able to watch them. So this was a focus group. The themes that came out of this particular study was absent fathers, delinquency, future leadership, role models, responsibility, impact of a good father, and values. That's another thing we're missing here in Tobago. We need more good role models for the young men. Because if we're going to have leaders for tomorrow, where are the men? Where are the role models who can be able to teach our young men how to be leaders, how to make good decisions? As we talked about absent fathers, the question was posed to the fathers, how are sons affected by father absence from the homes? One father, 6F, he shared that he felt there was a serious link to male youth violence, delinquency, and crime when fathers were not in the home. Are we seeing more crime now than ever? Yes, we are, and everybody's concerned about it. One father shared that when fathers are absent from the homes, there's a serious misfortune, he said, for sons, and is the cause for the increase in delinquency. Our fathers are telling us that we've got a problem, and they're telling us how to solve it. Delinquency. Do you feel that it is your responsibility for how your son turns out as a man? 3C said that when a father teaches his son to make good decisions, this will help him stay away from decisions which lead to delinquency. 6F, he said, many delinquent behavior patterns would have been avoided had the father been in the home. Are fathers important? Yes, they are very important, especially for Trinidad and Tobago right now. We need more fathers, more leaders stepping up to help our young men. Fathers need to be responsible to teach their sons how to be successful men and maintain a good relationship with them while supporting them financially. What are some of the parenting skills you feel are necessary to use as a father? A father will listen to his son and teach him to fear God. 3C, he stressed fear God, fear God. 6F, taking your son to church, playing sports with him, and supporting him in schools will help to ensure success. What did you do for your son? This was very important. I wanted to know what these fathers did for their sons. to demonstrate confidence in their ability to succeed? Well, 2B shared that he paid for his schooling and provided what his son needed. And this father felt it was very important because if you're paying for school, you're making sure that he has the books he needs, and you're staying on top of him. He said he visited the teacher to make sure that his grades weren't dropping. His son's grades went up just because dad took an interest. 6F shared how he was taking his, okay, we read that. 4D said that he did not give in to his son's wrong, but taught him to fear the Lord. This particular father shared that his son made mistakes. He bought him a new car. He smashed the car. And the father said that his words were, he didn't wrong him or he didn't put him down, but he supported him. He helped him to save up money. They were able to fix up the car, but he was there for him no matter what decision he made. And this father said that you shouldn't give in to the wrong that he's doing, but show him how he can make better decisions and support him with unconditional love and acceptance. How important do you perceive that it is for fathers no longer living in the home to financially provide for their sons? Well, we wanted to know, if you're not in the home, is it important if a father continues to provide? If there's another man in the home providing, do you need to provide? Or if mom wants to do the provision because she makes a good job or good money, should the father have to do it? And the father said, yes, absolutely. Because that shows who you are, even though she may, one father stated that she may kind of barter, like if you don't give her the amount of money she wants, you can't see the son, because that kind of stuff was going on, they shared. But they said they continued to support no matter what. Even if they couldn't give that amount that they needed to give maybe that month, they would give what they could and be consistent. And they said it made a difference. 6F said when fathers provide financially for their sons, they do better with their support. The father's support is so important. What kind of academic support did you provide for your sons? Well, 3C said he reported providing positive reinforcement and following up with the teachers. 2B stated that he reported having unconditional love for his son and making sure that he completed all his assignments. So just because his son knew that his dad would check up, he made sure he had his work done. What kind of social support did you provide for your son? Well, 2B said, I made sure that there was good communication, not only with my son, but with his mother. You'd be surprised. This particular father said that when he developed a better relationship with his son's mother and began to communicate with her, not just with the son, not only did the son do better in school, but his self-esteem went up, and all the projects that he did, because he used to do things in the community, play games and stuff, he was doing better in everything, just by the father showing more respect. When the mother would come around or he would go to visit the son, he would show respect to the mother. He would talk to her in a respectful way. If she started to argue, he said he would just back off. And he saw that it helped his son. So he continued to do it. Now, we have about 5 more minutes, so I'll share a little bit more with you. In this study, as I'm closing, I wanted to share that these fathers surprised me because they shared that they knew their life was making a difference. And even though the mother and the fathers, they said it was a struggle, some of the divorce was very ugly, they still believed that there was hope for their children. One particular father shared how much he loved his son. So much that he would take time every week and they would do things together, go out to eat, and sit and talk with one another, spend time with each other. But he continued to see his son leaning in the wrong direction, and he continued to try to support him. It just so happens this particular father, he lost his son since his study was done. But he has no regrets because he did the best he could with his son. The question that's posed to you today is, if you knew that fathers make such a difference in the lives of their sons, would we be more supportive of the fathers? Everywhere. Would we encourage them and help them to do the very best that they can at the task? God has given them whatever skills they need to make the difference in our son's life. We see so much violence going on. We're seeing so many young men getting into making the wrong decisions. and into delinquency, it's time we did something about it. And if fathers are giving us the answer and telling us what we need to do, then we should be supportive of that. At this time, I'm going to take some questions, and we'll pass the mic around, and you can ask any questions that you'd like.
Around to the guest room. But the songs I heard emanating from the back room, I knew he had a young lady in there. Now my wife, I walked back from the room, and I called my wife. And my wife was, so why you didn't stop it? So why you didn't get involved and thing? I said, how? I said, no. I said, I don't want him to know that I was there, and I will let him know after the fact. Because doing him that, presently, it'll be a kind of like, first thing first, it'll be embarrassing to him in front of a lady. That's the first thing. You understand? Now, she wanted me, if I was me, I'd stop it one time. I said, no, girl. I said, no, girl. Yeah, you can't. No, you see, the thing is, here how I look at it. I came to him, and then after the fact, I came home. Now, she blew whole day. She blew. Because she find I should have stopped it. I should have banged down the window. You can't do brother that. After the fact, I told him later the evening, I said I came home today, and the door was locked. And I walked around to the room. You know what you're doing? And he was like, Daddy, what? And he said, it's like you could see like he wanted to turn into a can. You know when they crush a can? He wanted to see how fast he could turn into a can and get thrown into the garbage because he didn't know that Daddy come and hear him having a young lady inside Daddy's house. I said, your mother, because he just called her mom to it. I said, your mom wanted me to destroy you immediately. I said, first thing first, I said, you thought about what you were doing. You thought about the fact that if this young lady's father know that you had his daughter in my house, first thing you're putting me in a position that they're going to say, I knew, when I didn't know. You understand? The other thing is, you use protection. I say, you ever study the fact that you could have gotten this young lady pregnant and the same reoccurrence, what happened with me, is going to happen all over again. The shame, the embarrassment, not taking into the light that you could have picked up some kind of disease too. I said, you see, you need to understand something. This is why as parents, we just try to talk to you all and let you all understand that how dangerous the decision you make could impact your future. Because it's what way I laugh whole day, though. I was laughing whole day, and she was blue whole day. You understand? Because I couldn't stop that one time. No, because here the question she asked me, and it was a true question. If was your daughter, you reach home, and you're hearing that song with the daughter. And that's a serious point because I'd mash up that door and I go through the window. So why is it you want to wait? That's what she said. Why is it you want to wait? Because it's sad. I said, girl, you can't embarrass him. So I said, but she said, but if it was your daughter? Eh? But I've learned all now that because of the fact that I wasn't in his life in coming up for those 7 years. You see that those 7 years? It affected him badly, even to the point that sometimes when I would tell him now to do something. Now he feel big because I'm telling you he'll be 18 in June. When I tell him certain things, you could see the facial reaction is like, hey, you wasn't around all the time, you want to play a game, he talks now.